Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I can't pronounce anything but English.
I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
All right, Remington. How you feeling this week? You feel recovered after the mental gymnastics that was Odd Taxi?
Well, you know, I still have lingering questions about walruses, but I'm pretty ready, pretty prepared.
I feel like I'm always in a state of questioning walruses. Like, how do they do that?
How do they do that, indeed?
You know, be a walrus. It seems very complex.
I mean, I could never be a walrus as many times as I've tried. Then again, who knows? Maybe I just need to watch Tusk a few more times to learn how.
Wow, that was a deep cut.
Yeah, I'm going into nice obscure horror.
Very obscure horror. I don't know if anybody listening to our show will have ever heard of it. I'm amazed I understood.
Watch Tusk. It's weird body horror.
That is quite the understatement. But Remington, I figured this week we would simplify things a little bit because...
Banana Cat, yet again.
No.
Fuck.
No. Why would we ever do a return visit to Banana?
The lingering mysteries.
The lingering mysteries of Banana will forever be unsolved.
No, I'm sorry. Banana Dog.
Banana... Don't be ridiculous, Rem. Who would ever make a show about banana dogs?
Oh, I'd love it. All right.
It'd just be a show about dachshunds.
Oh my god, it'd be so good. Separating from the tangents, what the fuck are we doing this week, Sean?
This week I figured we'd keep it nice and simple and jump into something a bit more, easy and straightforward. Because Remington,
all right,
I feel like just our relationship has needed a bit of work lately.
Yeah, you know, it's been very, very tense.
So I figured the best way to loosen things up is to watch a good old-fashioned shoujo-leaning romance anime.
All right. Two questions. One, is this a revisit? Is it one we've already done, in which case, probably not a good one?
Just insulting literally every shoujo romance that we've ever talked about.
I said probably.
Can you even remember one that you would consider to be a good one?
No. But I can only remember, like, maybe 3, so...
And the bad ones are the ones that stick out the most. You
yeah.
You picture some giant lips in your nightmares.
Oh, no. Oh, fuck. All right, well, my day's ruined. What are we doing?
Well, to ease your stress levels a bit, we're not returning to Ore Monogatari because there's no reason to ever revisit Ore Monogatari because we kind of covered it all back in episode, God, what was that? That was episode, 8?
10?
Something that early. Like, it was super early on. And we don't need to revisit it. But no, Remington, we're doing a newer anime. Came out earlier this year.
Oh, man, we're just on the hype train lately.
Look, man, sometimes we've got to ride the train of popularity so that when we do something weird and obscure, we can still maintain some of our stats.
All right, well, what's this brand new anime we're doing, Sean?
Well, straight forward, this anime is essentially your very basic, straightforward high school romance with a bit of comedy and a bit of awkwardness, just for flavor and color. Nothing.
The more you say that it's straightforward, the less I believe you.
But I'm being honest this time. I'm not pulling like a triple bluff like I did with Usagi Drop. Which,
You fucking better not be.
No. This one is actually decidedly wholesome for the most part. Because the anime we're going to be talking about today is simply called Horimiya.
Horimiya. Well, what do you know? Mia Hora.
Ram. That was dumb, Ram.
Oh god, I found it so funny though.
And I'm laughing to it too, which is not a good sign. The full proper title is Horisan to Miyamura-kun, which so Horimiya for short, and
Oh, but of course.
it is a really straightforward little coming of age high school romantic comedy about two kids who have one appearance at school and then just a slightly different appearance at home, and they meet and they kind of bond over that. The best way to describe it is, well, let's just get into it. So, it stars our two main characters, Kyoko Hori and Izumi Miyamura. And they are just two high school kids just kind of going through their lives. At school, Hori is kind of the school idol of sorts. She's very clean, very pretty, very desirable, very smart, very intelligent.
But then at home, she's a little trash gremlin.
Okay, listen here, bud.
What did I say?
We're not going that route this time, thank Christ. I don't want to confront that side of my existence again. It's been like 2 years since we've covered it. I don't want to go back. No, it's a different vibe entirely. It's much more tame than that. She is very, popular and diligent in school, has plenty of friends and such. But 90% of the time, she just goes straight home after school and is essentially a surrogate mother for her younger brother, while her parents are almost never around.
Oh yeah, because it's anime. Yep.
Yeah.
Anime hates parents as almost as much as Disney.
The parents are alive though, which is a big plus for them this time around.
Perfect.
And she doesn't really share that side of her life with her friends because, she doesn't really want to bother them.
Yep.
And on the opposite side of the spectrum, Miyamura is just kind of this meek and quiet, long-haired kid who's almost always wearing the full suit uniform, even during the heat of summer. And
oh
no. What, Rem? What?
I mean, we all knew that kid. They're usually a fine kid, but
I think the biggest difference here, Remington, is that it is just the uniform, just like fully, properly put together, rather than just the blazer and the sweater and button up. Like he just happens to.
Okay, that's way better then.
Yeah. No, like it's not just some random kid in a suit all the time. They can be great and wonderful people. I was friends with one or two of them in high school.
One or two? There's so many.
Yeah, but no. Like he just happens to keep things pretty clean cut, wears heavy glasses and all that, and most people don't really interact with him at all. He's just kind of the loner introvert type. Most people think that he's kind of the quiet, intelligent otaku type.
Oh, God.
Yep. But that is not entirely the case. He is definitely the quiet, introverted type.
All right, so clearly, we already, if we were to assign you and me roles in this shoujo, we already have them pretty clearly.
Are you saying
you're the try-hard otaku, and I'm the pretty girl, I guess.
You sound so disappointed to be the pretty girl in the relationship, Remington.
Well, my role fits me a little less than your role fits you, but I'll take it. I'll be a pretty girl.
Just to clarify, he is. I never said he actually was these things. This is just how people perceive him.
Okay, in that case, then maybe you aren't him. Who knows?
Yeah, no.
But I've already assigned the roles, and I shall not reassign them.
Fair enough.
I shall not acknowledge that I'm wrong.
You shall just persevere and work your way through it, huh?
God bless America.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But so nobody really pays him much mind. And one day, while Hori is home cleaning the house, her brother comes home with a bloody nose because he had fallen and hurt his face. And the person who found him and brought him home is a rather, attractive, piercing-riddled punk-looking guy. And...
all right, so this is...
Yeah.
The presumed otaku.
Yes. And she quickly finds out that this is in fact Miyamura, and they end up bonding over their very mundane secrets. and just the way that people perceive them outside of normal circumstances. It's nothing super dramatic.
All right, so let's be honest. This is just some like Disney Channel original movie shit.
Okay, listen here. It's
It wasn't intended as an insult, merely an observation.
you could have said it in a less, I don't know, insulting way to make it seem that way. But no, it's an interesting little story to show how I just completely lost my train of thought.
Oh, perfect.
That hasn't happened for a while.
Yeah, like at least 2 episodes.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Oh, you're making me so mad. Essentially, Remington, this is just a little romance story of 2 people who are very different, finding out that they are still, in fact, very different from each other, but still growing close because of it. And it's just a cute little comedy romance story with some decent little goofs and some strong personalities from both the main 2 and the side cast. And it is very much a very enjoyed adaptation of a very popular little manga. Nice
Can't
and
wait to
simple.
tear it apart in part 2.
Okay. I mean, we're already gonna get the emails.
See, just prepare for it mentally, Sean. They're coming.
Oh boy. Like, I'm trying to do you a favor here, Remington. I could have gone like balls to the walls with a simple yet awful story. Instead, I'm trying to give you something nice, a nice little simple, wholesome relationship anime, and talking about people and how you can be with people while still being different and maintaining your own personality.
All right, well, let's flick on the Disney Channel. Let's do this thing.
Oh, we're gonna get sued by Disney. All right, then with that being said, let's jump into some Horimiya.
Previously,
I do not think that you should DM him calling him daddy.
up next,
How did we cover rom-com to blasphemy? I don't understand. I'm gonna be honest with you, Remington. It's been a while since your opinions have had this much of a sway over me.
now back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after consuming 5 whole episodes of the hit 2021 winter anime, Horimiya. And Remington, do you have anything else to say before we get into it, or did you just want to, throw shade at it without knowing what it is first?
Well, I did throw a lot of shade, with very little to go off of, right?
Yes.
And I want to say now I have a more informed opinion. I thought that this was going to be pure trash, but there's actually, it's actually pretty good anime. You got interesting characters. I think they developed the relationships quite nice. There's some hiccups here and there, but overall the characters are lovely. It's pretty wholesome, very straightforward, a very pleasant and rather nuanced experience.
You know what I call those hiccups, Remington?
The entire anime, because it was all a ruse, Sean. This is a terrible show.
Oh no. Really, Remington? Really?
It's terrible. It's awful.
It's gonna be one of those episodes, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tear this thing to shreds.
Well, I'll just brace myself for the emails, and before we get into it, I think this is a nice, cute show. But apparently Remington doesn't, so if you have any qualms with what Remington is saying, please direct all your hatred to the Remington Chase. He is the lovely man who will take the brunt of it, because I, personally, want nothing to do with this man at this point. I am just going to sit over here and just kind of listen to him rant for a minute.
All right, so this show, we saw 5 episodes, right?
Yeah.
And it was all trash. It has very little redeeming value. I will try to point those few moments up when we get to them. But there won't be many. We'll start off simply with a good positive thing. I think that there's some interesting visuals in the opening. So I think it plays with a lot of different visual styles, and that's neat. So that takes away like half of the positive things I have to say about it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Rem!
So there let me clarify, Sean. So the main characters of this show, they're in high school, right?
Yes.
They're like high school juniors. They become high school seniors, right?
Yes.
Then why the fuck do they all act like they're 10 years old? Without fail, all of them, equal maturity, 10 years old. And weirdly, I think this show does a pretty good job of conveying and showing an authentic experience of like 10-year-olds in relationships. Not of 17 and 18-year-olds in relationships at all.
Well, man, oh man, you're going to be in the minority for this one, Remington. But go on, please, continue. Dig yourself a deeper hole.
Hey, that's fine. Here's the thing, Sean. On this podcast, I'm often in the minority, but bitch, I bring receipts. I bring argumentation. I bring logic and reason up in this bitch. And usually the only argument posed against me is, well, if you watched some more of it, which not a valid response to any of the shit that I say 9 times out of 10. So we start with a high school teacher being super creepy to the girls. And
yep. No, I'll stop you there. He is easily the worst part of the show.
Well, here's the
thankfully
weirdest.
He's not in it anymore.
Yeah, here's the weirdest fucking thing. I don't think we've seen this teacher again. He has like 2 scenes at the very start where it's like, wow, look at him creeping on girls. And then he's fucking gone. He falls into the abyss, apparently. Why do you introduce us to him very first? Like the first bit of real estate that you get on this show and you're like, all right, how do we start it? By introducing them to this character. Do they matter? No, not at all. So they start the show off poorly in more ways than one. Fortunately, it sort of introduces us to our main girl, Hori. There's Hori and there's Mia, Horimiya. There we go. They have longer names, but I only wrote down in my notes repeatedly Hori and Mia, so that's what they will be.
Well, his full name is Miyamura, and her full name is Hori, so there you go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, her name is Kyoko Hori, but, you know, Hori. And then Miyamura is Izumi Miyamura, so there you go.
Yep, so we had a conversation amidst the friends and Hori. You know that the friends are supposed to be important because they have specific hair colors. And that's a telltale sign, especially for this show. However, here's another spoiler. None of the friends have any characters. The friends are not characters at all. They are placeholders. Someone forgot to write them in. They are just names and bodies, and that's all they exist to be, which is pretty fucking tragic. Oh, wow, look at this cast of characters. Look, they all have unique character designs. Who are they? They forgot. They forgot to write that in the script, unfortunately, so we will never learn. Hori has to rush home to start cleaning, pick up her brother, right? And then we immediately get a cut after getting introduced to her brother, who also has no characterization besides he's young. We get to what you mentioned in part 1, where Mia brings the little brother home after he fell on his face. And they chat and learns that Mia is that this is Mia, even though he has piercings and he's an edgy boy, but also not. He just has a really edgy aesthetic, which is fine. But then he just doesn't have much of a personality beyond he's a little bitch who really likes to hit people, which is neither of those are good character traits. So I don't know what is redeemable about him. Like, I guess you get the quiet bad boy aesthetic, but only the worst parts of both, which ain't great. So then Hori needs Mia to buy her eggs, so he does. Mia has some concerns about swimming with showing his tattoos. Mia meets Toru, which is another one of the friends, and despite being nervous about showing anybody, then immediately shows Toru the tattoos. Toru who's Hori's friend, asks Hori out. She rejects him, and then Hori yells at Mia that Mia was like, oh yeah, we're friends. And I don't even know how much she likes me. That's episode 1. What the fuck? You have like 5 episodes of your basic rom-com that you crammed into a single episode. There's been no development, Sean. Things are just happening.
I mean, yeah, things happen. That's how life goes on, man.
No, but without justification, or they are all unwarranted. They all feel unjustified. They all feel empty because it's just, oh yes, here are things that often happen in a rom-com. Let's shove them all in here. Like, from this point forward, Toru, the friend we just have seen, and Mia, the person he's had one conversation with, suddenly Toru's closer to Mia than he is with literally anybody else. Toru, it's implied that he's like supposed to be really close with Hori. We don't see any relational chemistry there. And also Toru's part of like the broader friend group, so he should be friends with blonde girl who knows what her fucking name is. But they hardly ever interact, and never in an interesting or unique or way that shows even just interpersonal chemistry. Suddenly, Toru and Mia, they're best buds. Why? Well, because Mia is the main character, so that's the way that needs to be, because they live in a little bubble. What? Sean, surely you cannot argue that this is a well-paced show.
I mean, it's a little rushed.
A little rushed. This is less rushed than the first season of Sword Art Online, Sean.
Okay, now that's a blatant lie, and you know
It's not at all. Because at least Sword Art Online, they have some scenes that make sense. This one just rushes through absolutely everything. Genuinely, everything. A scene happens, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. So is this what this episode is about? Then very next scene, forget about everything that just happened. Every scene acts as its own miniature episode, and it makes no sense. There's no build, no development. It just occurs, then it's done. Forget about it forever.
Oh, dear.
So, episode 2. Let's go, episode 2. So episode 2, Mia and Hori, they're shopping together. Hori, she starts singing a song from an anime that's playing in the public space, right? And she's like, oh, I didn't even realize I was singing. That's so embarrassing, which is just like hyper cringe. Shit like this where I'm like, if you're 10, you can do stuff like this, but not if you're 17 or 18. And that's one of the lighter examples. Don't worry, it gets way fucking worse. We meet the mom, Hori's mom, who it seems like, don't get me wrong, this is a fine pacing to meet the mom in like the second episode and everything, but it's been days, it's been weeks, and we just have not seen the mom till now. We then see the father show up in a little bit. I don't know to what frequency they're home and when they're not. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the household situation. And I don't know if the show knows what's going on with the household situation. It's real weird and confusing. Hori realizes she doesn't know Mia's first name, so she tries to investigate. She gets caught as a peeping Tom, and no one really cares. A couple people are like, that was weird. Mura, he meets the mom. Nothing interesting comes of that. Eventually it's like, oh, how is she gonna figure out his name? She just asks, and she's like, hey, so what's your name? And he's like, oh, it's this. And she's like, oh god, it's so embarrassing. And that's weird. All right, forget about all the name stuff, because now we're moving on into something else completely. Now let's talk about the student council. Because Hori has been working real hard on student council work, and she's been assigned a lot of the work of the council president's girlfriend, right? And that doesn't seem okay. But no one, like, people are like, oh, that's really unfair. But nothing really happens for this. Let me explain. So the girlfriend gets the documents. She then, hours later, is rushing down the hall with documents, even though she left with the documents already. And she runs into Miyamura, who's just standing in an empty hall, because, I don't know, she lacks eyeballs or something. I don't know. She drops something and it's like, oh, I don't know, throw it away, I gotta go, and rushes. We have no idea why she's in such a rush. We are clueless why she feels like she could not even spare 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds, 2 seconds to grab this document, right? And the next day, Hori is getting yelled at for missing these documents. How dare you miss such an important document that's going on? She's getting chewed out by the student council president and his girlfriend. And Hori is like, well, I was really tired, but I think I got all of it in. And then they're like, you're just so terrible. And they create this president to be just an awful, like, really fucked up dude. But then Miyamura shows up and he's like, hey, here's the documents. You dropped it and told me to throw away. Remember President's girlfriend? And she's like, oh my God, that is what happened. I'm so sorry. So she like genuinely forgot about it despite it seeming as if it was malicious or something. Also, Miyamura very unnecessarily headbutts the shit out of the president, which traumatizes him. And turns out he's not like some Machiavellian evil dude. He's actually just a dude who used to be bullied a lot, and now he's still being bullied. What? What the fuck? Pardon?
I mean, you know, I've got nothing.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like, what is the character development of the president and his girlfriend? Oh, and by the way, I guess they just break up off camera and it's never mentioned.
They don't, but...
They don't?
Nope.
Okay, then there are some questions for future scenes. Okay, weird. Okay, so that didn't make sense for them to break up off camera, but the fact that they didn't break up also makes no goddamn sense. So we'll get to those moments. So you may think, okay, so that's how the episode ends, like the council tension, it's over. Miyamura defends Hori. Oh no. Let's get into the third mini little arc here. Hori, her birthday is coming up, and also spring break is happening. And Miyamura is like, oh, what should I get her for a gift? All right, so we immediately skip ahead to giving the gift. There's no like contemplation about like, oh, maybe this. No, it just immediately skip to giving the gift. He gives a gift of contemporary music because, oh, she was just singing an anime song because she doesn't know popular music, which, you know, it's not great continuity, but it's some sort of continuity. So I'll take it, I guess. And they're like, all right, well, what a spring break we had. Now it's over. Oh, okay. Those 2 minutes of spring break. Oh boy. You use spring break as like a catalyst for an interesting little interlude away from school, but nah, those 2 minutes of spring break, those were great. Those were delightful. Really, really interesting story arc of trying to figure out what present to get her. Real cool. Like, I hope the listeners are starting to understand. It doesn't seem like there's much rhyme or reason. What it feels like, Sean, is that this was like a mini series, right? That had 4-minute episodes, and then someone had the job of cramming those 4-minute episodes together into one larger episode and pretend it still made sense.
So maybe I should mention that this was originally a webcomic turned into a manga.
Oh God, that makes so... I feel like I nailed it then. I nailed it. Because yes, it feels like that. God, does it feel like that.
Also, it's a webcomic and manga that's been going on for a long-ass time that is beloved by a lot of people. But hey, okay, that's
the reason people like the show. It's because they loved the webcomic for so long, so that when they put it into a medium that it could potentially belong if it was properly adapted to, but spoiler, it was not properly adapted. Maybe the webcomic is really good. The show is not. And maybe you're like, oh, but it has all these things that I like from the webcomic. It does not blend them together well at all. It's really fucking bad. Yeah, so I'm okay if with saying maybe the webcomic is better. Maybe it's worth checking out. The anime, however, is not.
Okay. Well, you know, I was gonna bring this up earlier, but your rant went on for so long that I'm not certain I should bring this up anymore.
Oh, let's hear it, Sean. Let's hear it.
So, I had a couple reasons for choosing this anime.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Is this a case where it's like someone fucking died? We've been here before where I hate on a thing and you're like, oh, yes, and this person, they tragically died and in memorial and everybody loves it for their honored memory. And then I just look like more of a jackass.
No, not quite that extreme. We're not doing another Ruby situation.
Thank God, dude.
No, just one of the main reasons I did this anime was because it had about, just at a quick glance, about 50 votes to visit it on our Discord.
I mean, hopefully they knew what was coming.
Considering that the emo is essentially yes, thumbs up, big up vote, yeah. a lot of those positive emote votes, which if you are on our Discord, go to the recommendation list and vote on what animes you want to see, and I will heavily weigh them in future episodes. I thought this would be a good episode to, I don't know, remind people that that's a feature, and that I would be regularly posting more Discord links, and eventually we'd have a permanent one set up. But based on the way that this is going, I'm not certain people are going to want to do that anymore.
Well, here's the thing, Sean. We get so many recommendations out there. And many recommendations are attached with what they believe, how they believe I will respond to it, right? Some more accurately, some less accurately. Some people thinking I will love things that I definitely will not love. Other people knowing I will hate things, and wanting to torture me with them. We love all the recommendations we get, but with those recommendations, be prepared.
Especially considering all of the email recommendations we got for this one, which was a good amount. We're all like, oh, this is a great, cute little show. I'm sure Remington won't have anything bad to say about it. That is verbatim what most of these emails say. And the final nail in this proverbial coffin of the next, chunk of emails we're gonna get after this episode releases, Rem. Care to take a guess at what the MAL score is for this show?
Oh, with how you're behaving, it's at least 8. So I'm gonna say 8.22.
Well, with 310,000 users, currently ranked number 254 on MAL, it has an 8.26.
Oh, way too high. Way too high.
With a vast majority of the votes being in the 8 area, followed by the 9, and then the 7, and then the 10, which I don't take much stock in the people who rank shows 10 out of 10.
I gotta imagine we got a lot of webcomic fans here.
Skimming through the reviews, not a lot of mention to the webcomics.
Yeah, all right, so here's the thing. This show, it shows how powerful the basic structure of a rom-com can be. Because I think this show, it shits the bed when it comes to characters, relationships, interpersonal and romantic, dialogue, just chemistry in a more general sense. All it does is give a very basic, structure. Here is the rom-com structure. You have quiet, misunderstood boy. You have girl who's slightly sort of leading a second life, though not really. And you have some tsundere details in there. Both are a little awkward around each other. Will they, won't they? But obviously they're both super into each other. All that exists in this show is the structure, but the structure is so powerful. It's similar how a love triangle, if a show has a love triangle, it doesn't matter if it's great. People are going to get invested. They're going to choose sides. There's going to want one side of the love triangle to prevail over the other, even if they don't give a shit about the characters. It's just innate within us. So, Horimiya, it's all about the structure. That's all it has.
Man, those emails are going to be harsh.
Horimiya is rom-com empty scaffolding.
Yup.
Oh, but don't worry. There are still worse criticisms to come, Sean.
You're shitting me.
I'll try to summarize the basic arcs of each episode more so than going into as much detail, because I feel like the audience should be able to understand it at this point. Episode 3, they're back to school. Fortunately, the main crew is all in the same class. We get some lonely flashback from Miyamura. Cool. Miyamura and Toru, they talk a little bit. Cool. The girlfriend, the popular girlfriend and Hori, they chat where the girlfriend is like, hey, so are you dating Miyamura, or could I maybe go after him? Because what a cutie. I want to go after... And you'd think, and this is why I was confused, you'd think that at any point, Hori would be like, don't you have a boyfriend, though, girl? What the fuck are you talking about? But instead, Hori goes on this really weird, you can't have him. How dare you say he's mine, which is toxic as fuck. And just really unhealthy. It's not great. It's a weird dynamic. And the girlfriend later talks to another friend that's just oh, I was joking, but sometimes take jokes too far. But that still doesn't... Why is that the joke? And why didn't Hori call you out for having a boyfriend? What the fuck is going on? Later on, they joke to the boyfriend that, oh, he just has a harem of women in the student council. He can get any girl he wants. But once again, like, he's dating one of them already. And we don't see them interact again in these 5 episodes. We're told they're dating once. And then we only see them separate from that point forward. Where the fuck is the continuity? What the fuck is going on? And once again, now it makes a lot of sense. These are just random webcomic scenes. So fuck continuity. But it doesn't work in this structure. Miyamura and Hori, they watch some scary movies at home. They dedicate an entire scene to a flashback about Hori having a double joint in her finger. Genuinely Sean, can you illuminate that for me on why an entire scene needed to be dedicated to that?
No comment.
It's like they're watching horror movies and it's like, oh yeah, I can see how this can get romantic. And Miyamura's like, oh wow, you're double jointed. And they cut to a full-blown flashback of one of the friends just commenting that she's double jointed. And that's the whole fucking scene. I don't fucking get it, dude. They hold hands and Mia's like, I love you. And she's like, I know. And then, let's talk about the fucking end of the episode, right? So it's like, you could have ended it there, where, once again, it's like a little romantic moment between them. It makes sense to end it there. But we cut to not the next school day, but a school day, vaguely in the future. Miyamura, he shows up with a little bit of a bruise on his cheek. And people are like, what happened? He's got, like, I got in a fight with Toru. And they're like, Toru? But you guys are best friends for no reason. And he's like, well, it's complicated. And we get a flashback to their fight, which all it was Toru being like, hey, Hori is into you, you know? And Miyamura's like, nope. And then Toru, like, slips or something and accidentally hits Mia. And then Mia beats the ever-loving shit out of Toru, his best friend, like, clobbers the motherfucker. Like, extremely violent. And Toru has a conversation with Hori where he's like, I don't know, I guess I should apologize. And Hori's like, yeah, you should apologize from the sounds of it. What the fuck? What the fuck? Dude, Mia is just an asshole. I'm not gonna feel sorry for him because he's an outcast if he's also a total asshole who's physically abusive to anybody around him anytime he gets slightly emotional because he can't control it. And Hori is also not exempt from this. Oh no, she is also physically abusive like a motherfucker and then plays it off like a joke, all right? That's not okay. I don't care if you're, oh, look at me, I'm so feminine and girly. No, that's still physical abuse. You fucked up. Like, how am I supposed to root for these characters who are so emotionally immature despite being seniors in high school when they can't communicate? They're extremely violent and can't control their emotions. Like, what the fuck? And you know what's crazy, Sean? You know a crazy bit? Mm-hmm. In the next episode, Mia and Hori are going to be chatting, and Hori tells Mia, well, I always thought of you as the kind of guy who never gets mad. What? So apparently she also just doesn't know who she's talking to. So Sean, I just have to ask, what the fuck?
No comment.
Oh, it's just such. All right, so episode 4, we see class president who's now just like super chill, and even though we were told he's traumatized about Miyamura, now he's just cool hanging out with him, having some melon ice cream or something. All right. There's a weird scene where Hori and Mia go get supplies, and Toru is afraid that they're fucking, and they play it off for laughs, but it's not very funny. As usual, like there wasn't anything that made me laugh in this rom-com. I saw no com and very poor rom. We meet another important character, you can tell because of the hair. Mia's best friend from his old school or something, Shindo. Hori gets sick, and then they have a really intense scene where Mia tells the sick Hori that he's in love with her, which we've seen, like, what was it, Domestic Girlfriend? We saw that exact scene. It's a trope. So
yeah.
There's some like very weird zero-sum philosophy of interpersonal relationships in this anime, where even when it comes to like friendships or anything, where if you are close to someone else, then that means you must be further away from me on an emotional level. And it's emphasized numerous times, like Mia, Hori, Toru, all of them at different times express this zero-sum philosophy of interpersonal relationships, and it makes no sense. Further, almost every apparently emotionally resonant moment doesn't feel warranted. It's just not great. It's not great at all. Episode 5, Hori skips school, pretending to be sick. Her little brother sees Mia chatting with a girl. Turns out that girl's just Shindo's girlfriend. Hori's dad shows up. Nothing happens with that. And then they set up a very obvious but also meaningless romance between one of the other girls, Sakura, and Toru. That's it. Nothing matters. They just happen. So, Sean, you were very you seem to almost take it as a personal affront when I opened with how piss poor this show was, and yet you've been eerily silent. Is it perhaps because my arguments seem to be more legitimate than you first assumed?
No comment.
Like, if you're just watching this show, like, halfway, if you have it on in the background, or if you're, like, super into the webcomic, then sure, like, it's fine. It's okay having it on in the background. If you're actively watching, oh, God, it's rough. It's rough.
So you're telling me my strategy of watching 2 seasonals at the same time did not pay off?
Yeah, no, I would say it's, or I guess maybe it did pay off, in that it made this watchable. I would rate Horimiya somewhere between like a 3.5 or a 4 is where I'd end up putting it. And I know, oh wow, that sounds super low. If people want to address my arguments, because here's the thing, weeps. You can get angry and you can say that I'm wrong. But if you can't address what I said, well, then nothing is going to change. Like, I feel like knowing it is a webcomic, it explains so much. And I had a bit of a hunch, as mentioned, with like talking about the 4-minute episodes and everything. It is obviously stitched together. And unfortunately, I feel like the creators of the anime did it in a very poor way, where they didn't care about coherence. And I understand, like, it would have been risky to slightly change and remove some stuff to make it flow better, because then the diehard fans of it would have been like, oh, but this is missing, or this is different. But those are the things you have to do if you want a standalone anime. If you love the webcomic, I'm sure that you'll see a lot of the things you liked about it here. However,
oh, God.
if you're not in love with the webcomic, no need. You could skip this one.
Well, I think we've learned a valuable lesson here today, Remington, and that is I should not watch 2 rom-coms at the exact same time while doing research.
Oh, man.
My time-saving strategy has horribly backfired.
Yeah, well, you know, to your credit, Sean, I watched all 5 episodes at the same time, so, you know. We're basically the same in that regard. To research Sean, he's actually doing himself a disservice. He actually turns on the first episode of all new anime per season. And as soon as he decides it's unworthy, then he'll turn it off. But for a solid, like, 5 minutes, he'll just have a few dozen on screens all at the same time, you know? It's like a control room in there.
It's like the administrator's room in the Matrix. Yeah, I just have screens upon screens of different weeb shit, and I'm like, but this one, no, maybe this one instead.
Man, just inject the weeb straight into my veins. Oh, that's the good shit.
I know kung fu and weebdom. Oh God, I'm actually probably gonna have to go and rewatch the series now because I'm gonna be honest with you, Remington. It's been a while since your opinions have had this much of a sway over me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised.
I need to go back and rewatch this series because I was all ready to come back and counteract with a bunch of well thought out and clever arguments, but every time you made a new point, I was like, oh, you know what that seems? That's actually. But what about? Oh God.
Like, I genuinely
I was just blinded by the occasional wholesome moment, I think. Oh,
yeah,
no.
I feel like it would be very difficult to watch this show mindfully. I feel like you just sort of have to turn your mind off, which doesn't mean, like, oh, so you're saying that, yeah, if you scrutinize it to the upteenth degree. No, but, like, I'm saying you can't even think about it that much. You just need to be like, oh, how adorable. And that can be like basically your only setting. Because many shows stand up to at least base level scrutiny. Most shows should be able to do that. Because if they don't, then they probably don't make a lot of sense.
I'm going to have to go and rewatch those episodes of Fruits Basket I was watching at the same time, just to make sure that I didn't fuck myself over.
Sean, can I have a request?
Yes?
If you rewatch at least like these first 5 episodes, by the time this episode is up, then the day after this episode is posted, can you tweet, you know what, Remington was actually pretty right about this one.
Oh, God. I don't know if I want to do that.
I want some commitment and validation here, Sean. I want some possible solidarity. All right? And if you think I'm wrong, then you can post, nah, he's still wrong.
Oh, God. But that's going to put all of the flack that's directed at you to me, Remington.
It's what the people want, Sean.
I don't know if that's true, Rem.
Fortunately, I do. It's the voice of the people. It's what the people want. If you're listening to this episode, in the next 24 hours, check out Sean's tweet. See what he said. See what conclusion he came to.
Oh God, I thought the show was a lot better than. This is. I'm having a crisis of faith here. I thought this was going to be a good, wholesome episode. I did not expect to question the nature of God and life itself at this point.
I have that effect on people, Sean.
Oh, God, and you look so much like Jesus too. It's quite the contradiction. Yeah, like you're like a pale, slightly rotund JC, and it's a bit conflicting when I'm trying to solidify my faith in what I thought was a decent rom-com.
Man, but what if I had have you seen awkwardly ripped Jesus statue?
I love awkwardly ripped Jesus statues.
Like, that's the best, because it's not, there are many ripped Jesus statues, but there's only one that you look at and it's so ripped, but so with some strange proportions.
It's like if you took a leaf field drawing and brought it to life, and you wondered who thought this was a good idea.
I also like it doesn't have that Jesus doesn't have a beard.
No, which is a bit strange, all things considered.
I love that statue so much. What are we talking about?
I don't know, man. I'm having a rough go of it. I think we should end
this week's scripture out of context. Oh wait, no. What?
No,
no.
wait, hold on. No, that's for patrons later. Patrons of the Lord Jesus Christ, to be specific, not our patrons.
Yeah.
Oh God. How did we cover rom-com to blasphemy? I don't understand. I suppose the final question I need to ask you, Rem, before I have a minor stroke myself, is any chance you want to watch some more Horimiya? No, you don't. Let's move on.
He's right, though.
I don't know what to think anymore. But what I do know is that I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you enjoyed me having a crisis of faith, then please... head on over to whatever podcasting platform you listen on and leave us a review, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify. And word of mouth is an excellent way for us to grow. And if you'd like to get more content from the two of us, hopefully without me, wanting to unravel the mysteries of why I am the way I am, then you can visit our new Twitch channel, where we are playing regular Twitch content, and by regular, I mean that we are occasionally playing video games on there. The only guaranteed thing we have are Thursdays and Saturdays currently, where we're doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke race on Thursdays, and Remington is doing some other questionable things on Saturdays. So if you want some more of us, that's where you can find us at twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext. And if you'd like to support us even more directly than that, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to have Remington horribly mispronounce your name, as he has done on several occasions, and in fact had a horrible rant about it yesterday. Or, not yesterday, last episode. What day is it? Who am I? Jean Valjean? I don't know anymore.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. As always, we want to send our regards to our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on up, we reach the yandere waifus, who physically abuse us and pretend that it's adorable. And on that list, we have Week 9 of Questioning My Humor, What Would You Call a French Anime Fan? A Weeb? Oh no, it's a repeat. Walk Me Home Gently, Juliana. Try to collab with the podcast, Are Weeb There Yet? Trenton Towers, Totally God. TK from Angel Beats is better at speaking English than you are. Let's Dance, Headspin, I Kiss You, Just Wild Heaven. I assume that's going to be a VTuber thing? Because I don't get
It's
it.
actually not.
What the fuck? The first time I call it out! The world shall know propane. Sorry, mother. Snap Snips. Scissorum. Sean Arrogate Week 6, Academy 34. I know you like Overwatch. Scoopy Loopy Boopy Doopy Hoopy Goopy Oopy. Sarah Birch. Sammy Pritchard. Salty Pretzel. Sequoia Faye. Reverse Kismo. Remington, connoisseur of anime titties. Remington Merrill. Remington, I hope you have a thigh fetish as everyone is whipping out their legs to put on a table now. Redneck Weeb, ready to be
that
isekai.
one was a VTuber
What
reference.
the fuck? Ready to be isekai, Rabid Valkyrie. No, I can't possibly say this name on the podcast. I'd rather watch every episode of High School DxD than read this name. Matthew, I listened to all the episodes before subscribing, and all I got was this lousy shout-out drum. Matt, I swear that's not my Joey Wheeler Dakimakura G. Make Sean read the next one. It's still Maka Chop 92.
Is it really fair to make me read out the same one over and over again?
They say the next one, and it's in the same order.
I mean, it's going to be in the same order no matter what, as long as they're a patron, so... Alright. What was it? Maka Chop 72?
92?
Look. Look.
Amateur.
Mr. has a list in front of him every time. Why don't you have them memorized by now, jackass?
Because they change every week.
Sounds like an excuse. Maka Chop 92.
Mahu no Pug Tears. Luke Offenberger. Luffy wants more cake but can only have one piece, but I'm tring. Lonely Geek 23. Just Quill. Juan Jaritos. Jax. Jack of Spades. Ichigo Simp 015. H-Wood. Hey daddy, did you hear about Rem? He's so poggers. Hanekawa. Glenn Michael Dolan. Ghostly Bishi, I need more Joey Wheeler in my life. Fuck of love, Foxen Boy. Farmer Weeb wants in Joey Wheeler. Hey Yogs, who in the hell do you think I am? Erica P. Dark with Light. Darkswarm 713. Danny Morbido. Corey Dez 69. Shy 900. Christian Crawford. Cheese Monkey. Baby Bun. Ariel Bird. Apostle of the Church of Remington. Anime Duck. Angel Dust X Cherry OO. Andrew Sinclair. Andrew Rauke. Elise Howard. Alina Mae Dodd. Alexa Hickman. Alexander Naciencenyo. Albert Avia. And now we move on. We are heading over to Hogwarts. To the Boy Wizard tier, where this week everyone is getting a slightly different version of Harry Potter. You'll understand it in a moment. So, Spicy Log Horizon is one of the best written isekai. Use the BS Rule hot take. You are getting the story of Scary Potter. This is about a wizard who loves all the Halloween costumes and wants to use his magic to spook the neighboring town. Rare Country Roads is the best Ghibli movie. Fight Me, Kumiko. You are getting the story of Fairy Potter. With Tinkerbell and the gang. This is about a boy wizard who's learning how to be a wizard from all of them. Pilkster the Symphogear advocate, you're getting Dairy Potter. What happens when this cow learns a bunch of magic spells on the farm? Who knows? MT the poet, you are getting Library Potter. This is the story about a worm, a bookworm with magical powers, controlling and defending the library from all who seek its secrets. Miguel DeLeon, you are getting Budgetary Potter. Budgetary Potter is just really focused on using his magic to balance the national debt. Kazu Barako, Kazu Barako, you are going to get Legendary Potter. This is a story about a young wizard who's trying to be the very best, like no one ever was, and catch all of the legendary Pokemon out there. I Live in Ogden, yes, that one. You are going to get Pulmonary Potter. This is just about a sad boy who needs magic to inflate and deflate his lungs. So
Jesus Christ.
I know. Pulmonary Potter is a tragedy. I Call Bone Druid Daddy. You are going to get Sanitary Potter. This is about a wizard who has to clean his whole life. He wants to be a great fighter one day, but nope, he's just a janitor for his whole life. Hinata is a ball of sunshine. You are going to get Jerry Potter. That's just a dude. Enrique Perez Torres, you are getting Contrary Potter. Contrary Potter always needs to be right in all arguments and will use his magic to subtly change Wikipedia just so it seems like he's more correct than he actually is.
Otherwise known as Remington Chase.
Hey, Dedicated Sadist, you are going to get arbitrary Potter. He has all the magic in the world, but it doesn't mean anything.
Does anything really?
Was that... which one was that, Sean?
I was too busy listening to your bit.
Fuck.
So I didn't hear the name.
Was it Dedicated Sadist?
I think so.
All right. Darth Pikachu, you are getting none other than Momentary Potter, who only has magic. This moment, now it's gone. Coney, I'm going to TBN hell when I die. You are getting Seminary Potter, who is preaching the good word of magic all throughout the land. And to all of you, thank you very much. Y'all are fantastic. One of the better ones, considering I've been scraping the barrel for ages. I might repeat that one. That one was so good. But we move on.
You're scraping the barrel of another barrel.
It's so good, though. It was so
sense.
good. I think they'll agree it's the best.
I mean, yeah, it's the best one you've had in a while, but I don't know how much longer it's going to stay that way.
Moving on, we get to Cory in the house, Chefino Musco, going to the White House, where everyone is going to get their own romance book with, I'll give the synopsis of that as well. And they may or may not be randomly generated romance titles. Zachary Shirley is open all at 8 inner gates and 7 heavenly breaths unless there's a revisit to Haikyuu. Well, Shirley, you are getting Hop, Skip, Wed. This is about two 8-year-olds who they stage a crazy hopscotch competition where the loser has to marry the other one. It's not well thought out, but they marry each other in the end. It is legally binding. Uncreative Cretin, you are getting Hard of Desire. Not Heart of Desire, just Hard of Desire. This one, pure smut. Pure smut.
God.
There's hardly any plot. It just gets right into the smut. Thick mullet, thickest mullet around. You get, the devil's gift. So, a woman accepts a deal from the devil to get a stunning new husband, the man of her dreams. But the devil also gives his gift, which is, herpes. So,
oh, Jesus.
I know, that crafty devil. Silicon Spectre, you are getting... Nope, not doing that one.
No, you should not.
are getting Best of Show. This is when two dogs fall in love with each other at the dog show, but they still have to compete for who's the best. Their owners want them to focus on the prize, but they want to focus on true love. Last but not least, we have My Dear Old Mum. Dear Old Mum, you're getting Trapped in Heaven. You have this couple, they're madly in love with each other, but one of them dies. Good news, they go to heaven. Bad news, it seems like their partner isn't going to go to heaven. They need to figure out subtle ways to angelically guide them to make better decisions so that they can live in heaven forever. Otherwise, they're eternally separated.
Jesus Christ.
If you guys would like to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, where you can also see tomorrow if Sean still agrees with me or if he dissents. Or you can email us at animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, don't fuck your sister. I'm gonna be honest with you, Remington. It's been a while since your horse pussies have had this much of a sway over me.
But I only wrote down in my notes repeatedly, bonobos, fuck. Nah, those 2 minutes of sex, those were great. You know, I think it would be real weird, Sean. I think it would be weird if you reached out to Joe Rogan and asked if he could squish you between his thighs. I think that would be a certified weird move. Horimiya. Well, what do you know? Mia Hora.